Hey, I'm Naya. Welcome back to the channel. So today I'm here with Ivan. He was featured on the channel before. You probably remember the Dragon Link deck profile. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's a bit old, but still cool. So yeah, he got top 32 at the remote Duel YCS that happened this past weekend. He played IDS and he kindly agreed to come to the channel today. So welcome back.
Thank you very much. Yeah, as you said, I was on the channel before, so I'm lucky to be featured again. Hopefully, with an even better top this time around. Yes, as you said, I did play Invoked, Dogmatika, Duel, and yeah, it was a crazy weekend for sure. Yeah.
So why did you decide to play this deck in particular? Like, I don't know you to play those kinds of decks.
Yeah. So the Invoked Dogmatika Duel deck, which was relevant. Like in the past formats without the DP cards. I used to be a big fan of the deck. I like sort of how it functioned, but it wasn't like always willing to commit into it because it just had like these consistency issues which were like kind of weird, where like the Shadow cards weren't that great. So then when my friends were they were playing Ironmans in the Coliseum and post boat. And basically, I just saw them played. So I saw them play this deck with DPE, and I was like, "Huh, that doesn't look that bad. Let me test it out." So I was like trying it out, and I was like tinkering with it, figuring out stuff, decks, and in the end, I just really enjoyed the deck, and I figured that Fusion Destiny fixed a lot of the issues the deck had before with Shadow Fusion and the Shadow monsters, like the consistency issues, even the endboard issues, even into backrow decks and whatnot. It just felt a lot stronger and a lot well versed all around, and as well as just the deck being able to main 12 hand traps. It was like really crazy to me because the deck has a lot of starters, and every starter is a one card play. So that was like really key to me. Where in you have like hands that do a lot, and you have if you like draw a bunch of hand traps, you have like a lot of good top decks. If you're like permanently stopping them and you're grinding, you're always top decking better because every deck needs 2 cards to play unless they're like setting up, but you only need 1 card to play, so you have a chance to always top deck better. So I just like the deck for the sake of like plays 12 hand traps, has 1 card plays, it's relatively consistent. It's just good. It's very well rounded. It's just really solid.
Nice, thank you for that explanation. That was nice. So overall, what did your event look like? Like, did anything interesting happen? What were your matchups like?
Yeah, the only interesting thing was that I was basically speedrunning Swiss. So my only loss in Swiss was the mirror. Actually, hold on, let me pull this up. So basically, round 1, I played versus Virtual World. I won 2-0. Round 2, I played versus Tribegate Birds. I won 2-0. Round 3, I played versus Social Tenyi. I won 2-0. Round 4, I lose to the mirror. I get Mind Game 3. I have the out, but I don't have OTK. And then we play Chicken Game for 3 turns to see who draws the OTK first, and he draws it first. So I lose. Then round 5, I play versus PK. I win 2-0. Then round 6, I play versus Tribirds. I win 2-0. Like, keep in mind, I also won 2 out of 11 dice this whole event.
Only 2?
Yes, only 2 dice.
That's nice.
Round 7, I play versus Tribirds. This was like the only match that I won where I dropped a game, so I won 2-1. Round 8, Sword Soul Tenyi, win 2-0. This was on Farfa's stream on the feature match, and I was the fastest feature of the day or something. I beat him in 10 minutes or something. I don't know. Round 9, Sky Striker, I won 2-0. Then round 10, Mirror, shout out to Luke. But yeah, I won 2-0. And then in top 32, I lost to Sky Striker DP with Artifact Ignition or something. I don't know. And yeah, that's where I lost.
Okay, whoa, I mean, nice. It's cool. Like, it's a long event, so you want to be done in like 10 minutes for every single match.
Yeah, it was like really good because I was able to be done quickly and then just go chill somewhere in my house, just like to get my mind off it, and then like come back next round, mentally reset, and yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah.
So how did you feel like this deck performed being played in a big event? Like, do you feel like those types of decks are better to be played when you have like 11 rounds or something, rather than like a combo deck?
Yes, I mean this deck was really insane. Like I never felt like the issue, like in me losing the mirror match or me losing in top 32 was to the deck. And I actually, like, throughout the whole day, I actually did think that I had the best deck in the room, regardless of like other, decks existing. I really did think that I had, like, in the room, the best deck, like, for sure.
Nice. Okay.
I just didn't think that like anything was as good as Alistair, and that Alistair just did like everything it like just needed to do regarding a longer event. Like it's relatively consistent. It doesn't like break too much, and even when it breaks, it's like not that bad. You can usually get out of like those scenarios. And it's like control deck. It's not like heavy combo. It does have like some really nice lines of play that which you like do need to see. Like you can see the difference between like a bad and a good Alistair player. But it's like it's relatively simple. Like the core of the deck is like relatively simple. So so yeah, it was just like an easy deck to pilot around Swiss where I don't need to like overthink stuff all the time, and it's just perfectly fine. Yeah, it's just perfectly fine. It's not a Dragon Link where I have to be consistently focused for like 11 rounds. That would be really
that would be
really
a pain
tiring
to play Dragon
that would be
Link
really
for 11
tiring.
rounds.
Yeah, that'd be really tiring. But no, this was like really perfect. Really enjoyed the deck. I think everything in the list was like perfect, like chef's kiss. It was just I legit think it was like I got it spot on just where I wanted it to. So yeah.
Well, that's awesome. That was a very hyped up intro. So we better show the deck now. I think the people are waiting.
Sure. Sounds good.
Alrighty, so let's go over the main deck. However you want, the engine, hand traps, whatever you like.
I will start by the hand traps. So as I said earlier, the deck plays 12 hand traps. Now it doesn't mean that it's limited to 12 hand traps. You can actually fit like 14, 15 easily, like without any thinking. I just chose that I didn't want to force myself to make more suboptimal hand traps just for the sake of, maining more hand traps. So I stuck to 12, and I did 3 Nibiru main, 3 Lancia main, 3 Ash main, and 3 Imper main. I guess Nibiru main, Imper main, that's really standard. Both of those are like really good hand traps right now. Ash main is like but it's a YCS with like 10 rounds of Swiss into top cut, and it's just like, Ash is always going to be good. And it's not like it's bad versus combo decks or like the current high meta decks. Like, yes, it's low impact, but it's not bad. It's perfectly fine. So, and sometimes you just Ash Burkle and they pass. So, might as well. Yeah, like, it's not like it's that bad. And then Lancia was like, I guess, this quote unquote spice of the event. In testing, I found droplets to be bad. Okay. So I ended up not playing droplets because basically what the issue was, like in a scenario where droplets is your only card, it doesn't actually do that much because PK double sight locks you versus Tribirds, you just get OTED. Versus Sword Soul Tenyi, the bigger issue is the backer when they have Imperms Chalices, which they do main. And then they also have Chisha Barone, and if they Protoss you, then it's also like kind of iffy. So it's like, okay, is it actually doing anything? And then you go into mirror match. In the mirror match, it's fine, but Lancia is also better because in the mirror match, if you're not playing but they're playing, you're still probably gonna lose. But Lancia cuts off an entire engine by killing their invocation, so it's also better there. So I couldn't like really find or justify a matchup where Droplet was like significantly better. Now you can argue that like comboing it with other cards that it could be better, I guess, sure. Or if they're like bricking or if their hand is low impact, Droplet could be better and it's better as a 6th card. But it's actually not really. Lancia kills follow up as well. Just for the for like the Tri-Brigade engine, for the PK engine, they can't banish anything. It kills Alistair Invocation on the rebound. So it's not even like that bad as drawing it as a 6 card. And yeah, I just like didn't feel like Droplet did enough as a standalone card, so I just ended up going with these instead.
Okay, nice. Okay.
I guess we can move on to the engine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's 3 Alistair, 3 Ecclesia, and Maximus. I mean, you need like all of these. You shouldn't touch any of these ratios. I don't think that's like anything controversial there.
Right.
And then it's like 3 Fusion Destiny, 3 Meltdown, 1 Terraforming. Again, don't touch any of this. 3 Nadir, 3 Prosperity. Don't touch any of this. I guess the only card here which can be swapped is Prosperity. If you don't have Prosperities, you can just play Small World. And Small World is like actually completely fine, but I just like Prosperity more because it goes second better. And
so
then
that was the reason.
Call by the Grave.
Oh, sorry. So that was the reason for swapping Small World for Prosperity, just to make your going second easier.
Yes, I personally play Prosperity because it goes second better. Yes, but Small World is complete. If someone is on a budget and you can't afford Prosperity, just play Small World. It's completely fine. That slot just needs to be a way to bridge your 2 engines. When I say 2 engines, I mean Alistair plus Dogmatika. And what you do is you normal Alistair, you make Makaba, you invo add back Alistair, then you Small World, you trade it in for an Ecclesia, and then you keep playing the Dogma engines from there. So it just needs to be a bridge for 2 engines, and that's it gets you there, so it's good. Then the one Call by the Grave. I mean, this could be anything. This is like I just played Call by the Grave. It's Call by the Grave. 1 Flare, 1 Celestial, 1 Dasher, and those are like the bricks. So you also have to play all of those. 2 Invocation. I mean, I know it's standard, but I actually really. Before the event, I really did not want to play 2 Invocation. I only wanted to play 1 Invocation, and in all of my testing circles, I started a literal civil war between 1 Invocation and 2 Invocation, which somehow turned into 1 Invocation versus 3 Invocation, and
How
we
did
just
that happen?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I 2 Invo is for after a bunch of theory and whatnot. 2 Invocation is for sure not optimal. But I was like, okay, I'm playing a YCS, so I'm gonna play random decks, and I think Alistair will be really represented. So if I'm playing the Mirror, 2 Invocation really comes up because in the Mirror it sucks losing your Alistair engine. I think the one that has the Alistair engine with fusions looping first usually wins.
Yes.
So I don't want to play 1 Invocation, so I'll play 2 Invocation. But they're saying 3 is correct. But I don't own a 3rd copy, and I really can't bother going out to try it to find a 3rd copy. Also, 3 Invocation seems really meme.
That's horrible.
But I don't want to play 1 because 1 is not ideal because mirror matches and grind matchups. But if I play a lot of combo, 1 will be really good because it's 1 less brick. So just play 2, it's fine.
I can hear your confliction, yes.
Yeah. So 2 Invo was I guess the second Invo was my 41st card. That was basically it. But I didn't want to cut anything for it, but I still kind of wanted to play it. So second Invocation was the 41st card. It wasn't the Harpies, it wasn't the Call by the Grave, it was the second Invocation. It's I know it's really unexpected, but I don't know, the 1 versus 2 Invo theory, when we started talking about it, it lit a whole bonfire of a civil war. It was crazy. God. Yeah, it was really insane. But 2 Invo was fine. I guess post the YCS, I'm kind of happy that I played it. There was some scenarios where I just drew Invo Alistair and then just killed people with 2 Invocations in hand. So it was which is I guess 3 is also correct technically because it could do the same thing. So I mean, yeah, it is what it is. So I don't know if I'll test 3 Invocation. Don't take me for my word, but 2 was completely fine. And then Schism Punishment. I mean, those are just the traps. And then Harpy's Feather Duster. I decided to main this because I was really scared of Mystic Mine.
Right.
We saw in the LCSs and the events happening that people are just really love playing Mystic Mine in the main deck and whatnot. And it was just I'm playing a control deck, so dropping game once is not ideal, and everyone knows that Alistair has no mine outpost in game 1, so let me just catch them by surprise and blow them out. I played a lot of swords. I played 2 Sword Soul, and all of them were setting a lot of back row, and I just harpies them both, and then I would just like do my stuff because Chijao Barone is just like worse mecha buffler. So it's like, okay,
That's
like
true.
whatever, your deck isn't actually. It's like I'm playing a mirror match, but my deck is actually better than yours. Because when they
That's
don't have the
kinda
back
true,
row, it's,
low-key.
you know,
Yeah.
it just kind of blows them out hard when they lose the chalices and the imprims. So Harpies was a really good all day. I would just like Prosperity for 6 and like just dig for Harpies. Give me Harpies. Like just give me Harpies, please. And I would just like win from there. So yeah, Harpies was good. I
Nice.
would definitely keep it in the main. The alternative to this is if you're like in an area which plays a lot of sight locking decks and a lot of PKs, you just play Cosmic Cyclones. So you have like Call by the Grave, Cosmic Cyclone, like 2 ways in the main deck to deal with sight lock. So that's my recommendation there. All right, let's move on to the side deck. So for the side deck, I really wanted to keep it like short and simple. I didn't really want to complicate things. So the Gamma package is like most standard hand trap in the game. Just goes into every single matchup ever. You can just put it in. It's completely fine. Gamma was really great. Droll as well. Drytron, Mirror Match, Birds, even Sword Soul to an extent. If you're really scared of Protoss, you can just put it in. It's completely fine. DD Crow was mostly there for Sky Striker and PK because we were scared of Sky Striker. Sky Striker is actually a really bad matchup.
Yeah.
It's if they snowball early first with DP and whatnot, it's really hard to recover because it's like sort of impossible to kill them to their spells. So the matchup is actually like really scary. So DD Crow was there just to aid a little with dealing with DP and dealing with Rays and whatnot to try to aim for game shots and control the amount of spells they have in grave. It was really good. I sided it versus Striker and I sided it versus PK. I saw it versus PK guy and it was okay, but it didn't matter. I was probably winning the game regardless of what was in my hand. Versus the Striker guy as well. So I'm like kind of iffy on it. It could probably be something else. It doesn't have to be specifically DD Crow. Maybe like, I don't know, Talents was like what I was originally testing. Just to have like some more going first leeway. But yeah, Crow was like completely fine just because I was like scared of Striker. So it sticked. To Lightning Storm. I just wanted 3 back removal. I didn't want to go over 3. I wanted Lightning Storm because like I saw everyone is on Cosmics, but I didn't want to really play Cosmics because it's only good into PK, and the other argument is like you have it for anti-spell or order, but like the main deck anti-spell or ordering you that isn't like PK, which anyways you're aiming for sight, not for the anti-spells or orders. Like if they have both, you just lost anyway. The main deck that was doing this, or well, I guess every deck is playing order, but like the full package was the Sword Soul deck. And when they have, and when you have like Cosmic and they have anti-spell, okay, but they're like still boarding, and then they have Chijao, Barone, and then you have like a Cosmic in hand, and then they flip anti-spell, you go Cosmic, and it's like still, okay, Barone negate. It's like, did the Cosmic actually accomplish anything?
Does nothing.
Right. So like if that happens, you just have to take the loss, and in every single one of those scenarios, like Lightning Storm is just infinitely better, and it just has more matchup coverage. So the Cosmic wasn't actually doing anything, so it was just like, okay, we just go Lightning Storm. Hope they don't have the broken cards, and then yeah, I can probably play from there.
Did you ever feel like you missed it, or it was fine? Were
Cosmic
you okay
Cyclones?
without it?
No, not once. I didn't even side Lightning Storms much. I didn't actually play that many backrow decks. I sided Lightning Storms like versus the Tenyi Sword Soul guys, but I didn't even need it, so that was fun. One of them ordered me, and I just DP'd him, so I guess is what it is. Yeah, I mean, DP is pretty good cards, so yeah, I was like, whatever. And then 3, there can be only one. This was for going first, but I lost 9 out of 11 dice rolls. They'd go first. I'd win regardless. Then they'd go first again. Then I'd win regardless. So I never sided the sin, basically. Never needed it.
Right, because
so.
you're too old most of the time. Okay.
Yeah, so like I never needed it. I sided it once versus the bird guy, which I went like 2-1 against. And then, but like my hand was nuts regardless. I did see it, but my hand was like nuts regardless. So that's what it is. But yeah, but never saw it. In theory, it's fine. Do you like it in the deck overall? Not really. But there's nothing better, so it's like kind of like a necessary evil. It's like a necessary evil kind of thing. So is what it is. Because it has like some really niche scenarios. You can side it in going first, second versus Flunderies. You can set it in going first, second versus Tribirds. Versus PK going first actually versus PK. It's kind of meh because all of their extenders are like different stuff, so they can play around your stuff. But going second versus PK, you can lock them into their Rusty, their DP doesn't float, and then they actually can't play the game. That was actually something really interesting. That was
right, okay. That's a good thing to note, yeah.
That came up in testing, but again, wasn't like a real thing. So, I mean, I'm not like a real fan of the card. If I find anything better, I'll probably instantly cut it because, yeah. But kind of necessary evil kind of thing, so it can stay for now.
It's the format we're in, so it's like, whatever.
It's not really the format. It's just like there's nothing better to side going first because
so
Alistair is
like
a kind of
necessary for like birds and stuff like that.
Yeah. But the thing is, like Alistair is the kind of deck where you can't really play like any floodgate ever because the floodgate has to be also a consistency card, and I'll explain this really simply. The deck, like when you open a suboptimal hand or something, for example, and you. For example, you normal Alistair and get interrupted, and like the only back row thing or protection you have is a summon limit. Okay, so they summon 2 times, and then you summon limit them, and then like their entire board stays, and you just have an Alistair. And if you don't top deck a play, you lose because they'll just play through it next turn. So the card has to be something that keeps them locked for multiple turns and gives you multiple turns of drawing because you don't want to rely on one top deck scenario. So that's why there can be only one is very specific. It's really, really specific where it needs to be like a consistency card and a floodgate at the same card. And that's like not many cards that do it at the same time. So yeah, I don't know. For now, it's a necessary evil, but maybe later down the line, if I find anything better, I'll probably cut it out and play something else.
Okay.
Let's move on to the extra deck. Well, yeah, this is going to be really quick. So Verte, standard, Gardena, standard, Almera, standard, DP, best card in the game. I don't know what Konami was thinking. 2 Mekaba, standard, Algoides, very standard. Purga, Kaliga, not Kaliga. Purga 3 or Raijin, also
Raijin?
both are. Yeah, correct. I didn't play Kaliga. Both are standard. Construct, Apka, Vinda, Shuttle Package, standard. Titanic Lad, Antas, mandatory, and Omega, actually. Best card in the extra deck. Love this card. This card won so many games. I don't know. This card was crazy. I was grinding versus. I was grinding versus a bird player, and it was game 2. And I went through Punishment and Flare, and I drew Nadir for turn, and I had an Ecclesia engrave. And he was like breaking. He had like 4 cards at hand, but he wasn't like really playing. And he drolled me when I was like trying to break his board. So I was like, okay, if like he has another drill for sure. So I go Nadir, send Omega, add Ecclesia from grave, so he doesn't draw me. Omega, return Punishment, normal Ecclesia, search Punishment from deck. So it's like infinitely looping resources with Punishment Omega till he just lost. So
nice. Okay.
Omega was just there to like out DP.
Did he have the second draw?
He did.
He did?
Yeah, he did. Omega was like really keen because Maximus gives you a direct out to DP if it was already used, or if they don't use it on the Maximus, you just go Entis Omega, and then Omega clears the DP, which was like really important in the Drytron matchup, because when the Drytron matchup sight locks you, and then they drop the DP, if you just shuffle the DP and you give them a Celestial, because they have to resolve DP, and they summon the Celestial, they're locked out of the Drytron names, and they just can't play the game. So Omega was like really, really important. It just done like clear DPs and whatnot from graveyard, like really inconvenient stuff. Even in the mirror match, it's like kind of good. So yeah, Omega was definitely MVP of this event. I love this card.
Did you ever make it with Gamma and Driver?
Yeah, I did. There was one game where I was going second, and I go Meltdown. My opponent drills me, just go Gamma and just make Omega.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that must suck for them. Okay.
Yeah, that was like really tough luck for him, but it is what it is. I guess happens. Yeah.
All right. So, any last words about the deck? I mean, you did say you liked it a lot, so there's that. If anyone's trying to play this deck, run it like this.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the only thing that I have to note is the Lancer main deck was a meta call that I did for myself, because I just made it like a mental little note of what I should expect. It's not very standard, and I wouldn't expect it to work at a regional or a smaller local area where the RNG and randomness of decks is probably much higher. Like if you know your local meta and if you know that it can probably work, yeah, you should probably go. You should probably go for it. But this was just something that I decided. I would even argue that for regionals and smaller events, maybe even like, yeah, I guess, yeah, for regionals, because we're out of big events for a while. I would even argue that maybe Droplet or Chalice are better, just for the sake of, you know, you're playing into random decks, it's just going to break stuff and deal with
you just need to know your
issues.
meta, I guess.
Right. So I would argue that even Droplet or Imprimer Droplet or Chalice are better, but it was just something that I decided as a meta call. So I understand that people might not agree with it, but it was just my choice for the event, what I felt was correct. And you know, that slot can be anything that you feel comfortable with, which is like the great thing about Alistair, has a lot of space. Like you can really tech out the deck to your preference and how you want to play it, and then it's just like, you know, play it out optimally, and yeah, just hope that what you teched out for yourself ends up working out for you. And yeah, that's about the deck. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Nice, cool. Any last shout outs? Maybe we can do that as well.
Sure. Shout out to all of my friends in the barbershop. Shout out to Store. Shout out to WAF. Shout out to the whole Creation Yu-Gi-Oh community. Shout out to everyone in the 31er server that supported me along the way. You guys know who you are. I love all of you. Shout out to my team, Frozen Card Gaming, obviously. Any special shout out would be Toast. Toast was like the guy that I tested Invoked with the most. And that was like really cool because, you know, he plays the deck a lot on DB, and then I get to bother him to, you know, test stuff for me. So Toast, I love you a lot. Thank you a lot for helping me out. And then shout out Ryan Yu for coming out of retirement to help me with theory.
Nice.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you again for coming to the channel. Also, congratulations on your top.
Thank you.
I'm very happy for you, and yeah, congrats him in the comment section also. And if you found this video helpful, he told a lot of interesting things and things to note, so make sure you remember all of that and give the video a like, give me a sub, and also check out Twitch, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.